can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go another.
To start planning the layout of your tile, you must first find the center point of the room. To do this, measure the 4 walls in the room and find the midpoints. Then, snap 2 chalk lines, one from the midpoints of 2 opposite walls and another from the midpoints of the 2 other walls. Where they intersect will be the room's center point. Check that the chalk lines are square by marking points 3 feet on one chalk line and 4 feet on a perpendicular chalk line starting at the intersection. Measure the diagonal space between each of these 2 points. If the distance between the two is exactly 5 feet, the lines are square. If the lines aren't square, the tiles will not be centered and the room might not look balanced. If the room is not square, which is very common, you will need to make adjustments to the position of one line and then square the other line using the 3-4-5 procedure. Next, you'll want to lay a single half row of tiles in both directions without mortar, starting at the center point and working outward. You do this in order to ensure the finished project will be centered. Insert spacers between the tiles. Stop when there is not enough room for a full tile. If the space at the end of either row is smaller than 1/3 of a tile, you'll want to adjust the chalk lines so half tiles appear on both sides of the room. Since you started in the center, 1/3 of a tile on one end means that you'd have 2/3 of a tile on the other end of the room and it will look off center. After making any adjustments, be sure to re-snap your chalk lines. Before laying your tile, you should pull tiles from different boxes and mix them. Don't just use tile in order from one box at a time. Sometimes slight tonal differences can occur between different boxes of tile. By mixing the tiles as you go, you'll spread and mix these differences throughout your floor and they won't be noticeable. Many floor tiles today have multiple graphics in each box. These are usually tiles that are designed to emulate natural stone and a random look when installed. Also, be aware that some tiles have directional arrows on the back. You must keep these arrows pointing in the same direction as you lay out the tiles to ensure pattern alignment. When installing tile, be sure to wear safety glasses and rubber gloves when mixing and applying mortar. Also, consider wearing knee pads to evenly distribute your body weight and save your knees. You'll be glad you did. Read the mixing instructions on the back of the package to ensure proper mixing of the mortar mix. One more thing, when tiling an area that will butt up against a different kind of flooring like carpet or hardwood, a threshold transition is needed. Check with one of our store associates prior to your project to find out which type is right for your project and when it should be installed. Some go in before tiling begins and some are installed at the end of your project. Thin-set mortar is the cement or bonding agent used to attach the tile to the backer board or concrete subfloor. Use a large bucket and drill with a mixing paddle. Be sure to clean the mixing paddle promptly so the mortar does not harden on it. Some mortars are labeled as non-modified and require a latex polymer admixture, which will improve the performance of the mortar and increase bond strength. But most mortars come already modified. Porcelain floor tile must always be installed using a polymer modified thinset to achieve the appropriate bond between the tile and the substrate receiving the tile. This also applies to exterior installations. Also, mortars must be allowed to stand for 5 to 10 minutes after mixing. They cannot be used immediately. Slake time, as this is referred to, allows the chemicals in the mortar to fully activate. Make sure you follow the instructions on your mortar mix package. For wood subfloors where a backer board was installed, be sure to moisten the backer board by misting it with a spray bottle filled with water before spreading the thinset. Spray the backer board as you work. If you don't do this, the backer board will soak up water from the mortar, causing it to dry too rapidly. This will impact how well your tiles adhere to the subfloor. Take care not to mix too large a batch of thinset. It has a limited working life, and if you've mixed too much, it will start to harden before you've had a chance to use all of it. If this happens, you'll need to discard it and mix more. Do not add water after the thinset begins to harden, because this weakens the cement and severely affects the bonding between the tile and the backer board. Mix up a bucket of thinset mortar appropriate for the type of tile you're installing. There are differences, so check with the store associate to ensure you make the right choice. Plan your installation so that you have an exit without stepping on any of the tiles before the thinset hardens, which takes approximately 24 hours. In other words, don't tile yourself into a corner. Trowels have both a smooth edge and a notched edge. The notches are called teeth. The type and size of the tile you're installing will determine the depth and the width of the teeth your trowel should have. Check installation materials packaging for guidance. The size of the notch determines how much thinset is left on the floor receiving the tile. Typically, the larger the tile, the larger the notch needed. This helps when leveling larger tiles and prevents lippage or a trip hazard between tiles. Use your trowel to scoop out a generous amount of mortar from your mix bucket. Starting in one quadrant at the center point of the room where your chalk lines intersect, begin spreading the thinset with the flat side of the trowel and press it into the backer board at roughly a 45-degree angle. This will ensure the mortar fully adheres to the backer board. To begin, you should do one test tile to ensure the consistency of the mortar is appropriate. Put the first test tile onto the thinset bed. Lay the tile flat and slightly twist it and gently press it down evenly in the centers and corners. Pull the tile up and check the back of the tile. It should be completely covered with thinset. If you have areas on the tile not covered with mortar, it means you either did not mix the mortar properly, did not spread the mortar evenly, or waited too long to set your first tile and the mortar started to dry. It also might be because you didn't evenly and firmly press the tile into the mortar. Correct as necessary and proceed. Once you've confirmed you have the right consistency in the mortar, relay your first tile, ensuring it's still lining up with the chalk lines at the center and that it is fully pressed back into the mortar. Next, place two spacers along the side where you will add a tile. Use two spacers, one on each end. Spacers are used to easily and quickly ensure equal spacing between tiles. Always position your spacers so they stick up and out. A common mistake is to lay them on their side in the corners where four tiles meet. If you do this, they become embedded in the mortar and can be very hard to remove. Also, grouting over those spacers will compromise the integrity of the grout by creating a thin spot in the cement. Next, set your second tile by aligning the edges and corners, hinging it down and slightly twisting it back and forth. Comb the thinset using the notched side of your trowel, holding the trowel at a 45-degree angle to the floor and lightly pressing the trowel teeth to the floor. Make sure you comb the thinset in one direction. Avoid circular or swirling patterns. Also, don't push so hard that you remove the thinset entirely from the floor. The combed channels will flatten out and compress when the tile is placed, ensuring the proper amount of mortar is present beneath the tile. To avoid having excess mortar squirt out from under the tiles into the spaces between, use a small, thin trowel to remove a small amount around the edges of your tiles as you go. Do not allow the thinset to skim over or start drying as you go. If it does, remove it and apply new thinset. As you lay your tile, always check them for dirt or dust. Wipe them clean if needed. The dust can affect how effectively they adhere to the mortar. If you're new to tiling, you may only want to apply enough mortar for one or two tiles at a time. When choosing where to place the next tiles, know that it really doesn't matter as long as you keep two things in mind. Follow your chalk lines to ensure your tiles are going down in a straight line, and make sure you're not tiling yourself into a corner. After installing 3 or 4 tiles, place a 2x4 on top and tap lightly with a rubber mallet. This will level the tiles and embed them firmly into the mortar. Then continue spreading mortar and setting additional tiles. Throughout the process, use a damp sponge to clean off any mortar that ends up on the top of the tiles. Do not let it dry. Once dry, mortar on the finished floor is extremely hard to remove. Also, check your alignment by stepping back every so often and looking down the tile edges to be sure the lines are straight. This should be done often before the mortar starts to dry and harden. If you find a
when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.